In this video, we are going to learn how to add and subtract sign numbers. When I say sign numbers, I mean numbers with signs that are integers, plus or negative signs. Now, before we go further to solve these questions, there are a few things we should know. First, to add sign numbers with the same sign, we add the magnitudes of the numbers and keep the same sign. So the sign remains the same, we add the magnitudes. Okay? And also, to add sign numbers with different signs, like a plus sign and a minus sign, we subtract the magnitude of the numbers and then use the sign of the number with the greater magnitude. Now, this is what I'm trying to explain here. Let me write it. When we have the same signs, let me say plus plus or minus minus. Now what we do is, if the signs are the same, for example plus plus, we add the magnitudes of the numbers, okay? We add the magnitudes and then keep the sign the same. So if the sign is positive here, then we know that after this the sign also will stay positive. When it's negative, the sign will stay negative. Okay? If we have two negative terms, two numbers with negative signs, we leave the negative signs alone. We add the magnitude. The magnitude means without the sign. You know, when you say minus 2, the magnitude of minus 2 is 2, for example. So we add the magnitudes and then maintain the sign. So whatever sign is there, we maintain it if they are the same. But in a case that we have different signs, like a plus sign versus a minus sign, or a minus sign versus a plus sign, or it can be, it's the same thing, minus sign, plus sign, minus sign. Whenever the signs are different, okay, whenever the signs are different, we know that the result is going to be what? The magnitude again. We are going to subtract the magnitudes. Remember, in this case, when the signs are the same, we add the magnitudes, okay? We say add the magnitudes, okay, together when the signs are the same. But if the signs are different, we subtract, okay? We subtract the magnitudes of the numbers, and then the sign here, because we cannot say you maintain the sign because the signs are different. So is it going to be a plus sign or a minus sign? Well, that depends on the numbers, okay? It can be a plus sign or it can be a negative sign. So the greater number carries, how will I call it, the sign. So for example, when you have a minus 2 and a plus 1, because 2 is bigger than 1, then the 2 with minus, after subtracting the magnitudes, the sign of 2 will be used, that's minus, okay? Now, it might be very difficult or confusing to understand these signs, conventions, or whatever. But now, with an example, I'm sure everything is going to be clear now. Let's look at the first example. Now, we will try and then treat them into pairs, okay? Each number into pairs. For example, here, the pair of numbers we have is like 5 and minus 2, okay? Another pair of numbers that we have is 4 minus 2. Alright? Now let's go ahead. Now, which case is this? Okay, can you tell me please which case is this? Is it the case with the same signs where we have a plus plus sign or a minus minus sign? Or is it a case where we have a minus plus or a plus minus sign? Well, let's see which case is this. Well, I can see that because this is 5, there is no sign on top of it, okay? So meaning the sign is a plus. We know that. Whenever we have a number like 2, 1 written without any sign, the convention is that it is positive, okay? The sign is positive. So this is a plus 5. And then we have a minus here. So that's a negative 2, okay? Now, this is a case where we have different signs. So remember what we said. If we have different signs, we subtract, okay? We subtract. And when we have the same signs, we add. And what are we adding? The magnitudes. Okay, the magnitudes. And the subtraction also the magnitudes. Now let's go ahead and solve this. Now we have plus 5 minus 2. Now what we are going to do here is we leave the signs first. We try to add the magnitudes. Now the magnitude here is 5, 2. So 5 plus 2 is how much? That is 7. Then the magnitude is what? 7. Now the sign. Remember, when the signs are different, the greater number, that's the bigger number, carries the vote, like it carries the sign, okay? So the sign is dictated by the greater number. So here, as we can see, 2 and 5, of course 5 is bigger than 2, so the sign will be a what? A plus sign, okay? Plus 7. Now let's move to the other pairs. We have a plus 4, okay? We have a plus 4, and then a negative 2, that is minus 2, okay? Now here also is a case that where we have different signs. So remember, different signs, we subtract the magnitudes. Let's go ahead and subtract the magnitudes. Now here, subtracting the magnitudes will be, oh, sorry, please forgive me. We are supposed to subtract these magnitudes together. That is 5 and 2, not add them together. Please pardon me. So that is 5 minus 2. That's the magnitude is what? 3. And then the sign is plus, which is dictated by the greater number, which is 5. Okay. Now let's continue with the other pairs. Now we have plus 4 and minus 2, or negative 2. Now again, we are going to deal with the magnitudes. So the magnitude of 4 and then 2, then we are going to subtract them, because we say when you have different signs, we subtract the numbers. Okay. Now 4 minus 2 is 2. And then the sign is what? Plus. Okay. Plus 2. Because 4 is bigger than minus 2. Or 4 is bigger than 2. Okay. Now let's continue the question. Now we have another pair of numbers here, right? That is a plus 3 and a plus 2. Now here is the case where we have the same signs, okay? That is this case. We have the same signs. That's plus plus. So when we have the same signs, what do? We add the magnitudes. Okay, let's go ahead and add the magnitudes. 3 plus 2 is 5. Okay, so the magnitude is 5. And then the sign is what? Yes, that is right. The sign remains. We just maintain the sign. If it is plus plus, we maintain plus. If it is minus minus, we maintain the minus sign. So because here it is plus plus, then the answer is going to be plus 5. And this is the answer to the first question, plus 5. Now let's go ahead and solve the second question that we have at hand. Okay, let me drag this here. Again, let's try and treat them as pairs. The first pairs that we have are here. Then here is our second pairs of numbers. Again, because 6 has no sign, we know it is plus. Now we have plus 6 plus 7. So this is a case where we have the same signs, right? That is this case, plus plus sign. So what should we do? We add the magnitudes, because it is addition, right? Addition. So 6 plus 7 is how much? That is 13. We have 13. And the sign is plus, positive sign. Because we have positive, we just maintain the sign. When the signs are the same, we add the magnitudes, maintain the sign. Okay? In the second pair of numbers too, we can observe that we have a negative 2, a negative 3. So we have minus minus. So exactly as the first one, we have the same signs again, just that the signs are not positive signs here, they are negative, but again they are all the same. So we add the magnitudes and then maintain the sign. Okay, so 2, the magnitude of 2 plus the magnitude of 3 will give us 5. We have the 5, and then we maintain the sign, that is a negative sign. Okay, now we have a case where the signs are different. So if the signs are different, we subtract the magnitudes, that is the difference of the magnitudes, and then we use the sign of the bigger number or the greater number. Remember this. If you know these two tips, then addition and subtraction of numbers or sign numbers will be very easy for you. Again, we have a condition where the signs are different. So we are subtracting the magnitudes. We have 13 minus 5, that is 8. Okay, so we have 8. And then what sign do we use here? Exactly, that is correct. We use a plus sign. Why? Because 13 is bigger than 5. So the greater number dictates the sign. Okay, so that is a plus 8. And this is the final solution to this question also. I hope this is clear. Let's go ahead and solve another problems to make sure that this concept is clear. Now that I'm out of space, I have to clear some space. Okay. Now let's solve this question. It says that, let's say you have a negative 7, then we have a positive 6, negative 11, positive 8, negative 3. Okay. Now, this is what I want you to do. Pause the video and try to solve this question by yourself. Then you can continue watching and then verify your answer. I hope you are done. Okay. Let's begin the question. Let me drag this to the other side because it's important. This is our map, okay? Yes. Okay, here we go again. Let's try to put the numbers into pairs as always. Again here, the first pair of numbers that we have are what? Negative 7 and positive 6. The second pair of numbers are negative 11 and positive 8. Now we have a negative 3 standing on its own. That's not a problem. Let's try to put them into pairs. At the end of the day, everything will be resolved. And this, believe me, is the best way and then the easiest way to treat these numbers. Let's go ahead. So in the first case, we have different signs. So when you have different signs, again, you all remember because it is already here. That's why I put it here. I said it is our map. When the signs are different, we subtract the magnitudes and then use the sign of the bigger number. Okay, let's go ahead. We are going to subtract these two numbers. That is 7 minus 6. That is 1. Okay. And then the sign is negative. That is the sign from negative 7. Because 7 is bigger than 6. Okay. Let's move to the second pair of numbers. We have negative 11. Then we have plus 8. Okay. Again, we have different signs. So we subtract the magnitudes. 11 minus 8 is how much? Yes, that is true. Is 3. Okay. And then the sign is negative 3. Okay. That's negative 3. Let me write it down here. Okay. That is negative 3. Sorry. Have to use a different color. That's negative 3. And then remember, we have a negative 3 standing here. So let's bring that negative 3 down. Negative 3. Again, we are treating the numbers as pairs. We have -1 minus 3. Okay. Now, this is a case where we have the same signs. Now, what do we do when we have the same signs? Yes, that is true. We add the magnitudes and then maintain the sign. So 1 plus 3 is 4. And then we maintain the negative sign. Again, let's bring down the -3. -3. Now, which case is this? Can you please tell me? Is it a case that where we have the same signs or where we have different signs? Yes, that is true. This is a case where we have the same signs, negative, negative. Okay? So let's go ahead and solve this question. Now, because the signs are the same, we add the magnitudes. That is 4 plus 3 is 7. And then we maintain the sign, that is the negative sign. And this is the answer to this question. Let's try one more question to make sure that this concept is clear. Now let's say we have -2, okay, minus 6, plus 4, minus 12, and a plus 8. Let's go ahead and solve this question. Again, you can pause the video and try to solve this question by yourself. Then you can continue watching to confirm your answer. Again, let me move our map to the other side. This is our map, okay? Yes. Again, we are treating the numbers as pairs. So the first pair of numbers are these, the second pair of numbers are these, okay? These are the second pair of numbers. Now again, this is a case where we have the same signs, negative, negative. So we add the magnitudes, that is 2 plus 6, that is 8. We maintain the sign, that is negative. Okay? In the second term, we have different signs. We have a plus 4 here, and then a -12. So when we have different signs, we subtract the magnitudes and then use the sign of the greater number, right? So 12 minus 4 is 8. That is right. And then the sign is negative because 12 is bigger than 4. So we use the sign of 12. That is negative. Let's go ahead and bring down the positive 8. Okay. We have the positive 8 here. Sorry. Yes, we have the positive 8 here. Again, we have two pairs that have the same sign. Let's add the magnitudes and then maintain the sign. 8 plus 8 is 16. We maintain a negative sign. Again, we bring down the plus 8. Now, we have a case where the signs are different. When the signs are different, we subtract the magnitudes and then use the sign of the bigger number. 16 minus 8 is 8. And then because 16 is bigger than 8, we use the sign of 16, which is negative. And this is the final answer to this question. Now, if you like this video, please consider subscribing to my channel, like, and then share. Also, please comment your ideas or your thoughts about this video in the comment section. If you have any questions, please feel free to leave them in the comment section. Thank you for watching this video.